Bombshell Gooners! Julián Álvarez has reportedly informed Atlético Madrid that he wants to leave. That's right, Gooners, it could actually happen. Meanwhile, we've got a major update on an attacking target that Arteta knows personally, explosive news regarding William Saliba's fitness, and Ben Jacobs has just revealed the fee required for Myles Lewis-Skelly to leave Arsenal this summer. And it is absolutely astronomical. Could any club realistically match that valuation? If you want all the details on these massive stories as we prepare for what could be the biggest transfer window of the Arteta era, subscribe right now, turn on notifications, and let's get straight into it. Let's jump straight into the first story because this one has just gone to a completely different level. According to journalist German Garcia, speaking on Gerard Romero's YouTube channel, Julian Alvarez has officially informed Atlético Madrid that he does not want to renew his contract and is open to a transfer this summer. And Arsenal made an approach that triggered the whole thing. Garcia was crystal clear about the player's stance. The player has informed Atlético Madrid that he doesn't want to renew his contract and that he's open to a transfer. Julian maintains his stance of seeking a change of scenery, considering the possibilities and the markets he has open. That is massive. This is no longer speculation. Alvarez wants out, and Arsenal are firmly in the conversation, the race. They've submitted an initial offer of around £86 million, but that is well short of Atletico's £112 million valuation. Atleti are not budging, and Barca's financial situation makes it very difficult for them to just throw extra money on the table. That is exactly where Arsenal come in. The Gunners have the funds to go to that number. Berta has already signed Alvarez once before, bringing him to Atletico back in 2024. That personal relationship is not a small thing. It could be the decisive factor when the player is weighing up his options. Think about what Alvarez brings: 49 goals and 17 assists in just 2 seasons for Atletico. A World Cup winner, a player built for the biggest moments, someone who produces when the pressure is at its absolute highest. After what we saw from Gyökeres in Budapest, that profile is exactly what this attack is crying out for. Barcelona may have the early advantage, but this race is very much alive for Arsenal. Berta knows the player, the club has the money, and Alvarez wants a new challenge. If the Gunners can convince him that the Premier League and the Emirates is the right move, they have every chance of pulling off the signing of the summer. Come on, Berta, get this done. Now let's talk about Arsenal's plan B in the attacking department, because according to Team Talk, the Gunners are monitoring Ferran Torres as a potential alternative to Julian Alvarez, and this one is going to split the fan base right down the middle. Torres is a player Arteta knows extremely well. The pair worked together at Manchester City, and the Arsenal manager has remained a long-term admirer of the 26-year-old ever since. So the connection is real, and the logic is understandable. With Torres having just 12 months remaining on his contract at Barcelona, the Catalan club must decide whether to offer him a new deal or cash in this summer, which means Arsenal could potentially land him at a reasonable price. On paper, the profile makes sense. Torres has 114 senior career goals, 55 Spain caps, and this season was arguably his best at Barcelona. 21 goals and 3 assists across all competitions. He is versatile across the front line, technically sharp, and proven at the highest level. But here is the honest truth, and it is something every Gooner needs to hear. Torres feels like a solid signing, not a statement one. He feels like a player we could have signed last summer when the priority was raising the floor of the squad. This summer is different. After losing a Champions League final, the ambition has to be higher. Arteta himself said it. Arsenal need to be very ambitious, very fast, and very smart. Torres does not feel ambitious enough. It is hard to shake the feeling that we have already seen the best version of him. He is a fine player, Matt, but fine is not what Arsenal need right now. The far more exciting alternative, if Alvarez falls through, is Eli Junior Krupi. The Bournemouth teenager brings 13 Premier League goals, genuine superstar potential, and an upside that could be the difference between reaching a Champions League final and winning one. That is the level Arsenal should be targeting. Torres is a panic buy. No thank you. Let Berta focus on the big fish. Now let's talk about William Saliba, because after the parade celebrations wound down, a worrying story broke. And France manager Didier Deschamps has now stepped in with a huge update that every Gooner needed to hear. Reports had been circulating that Saliba was a doubt for the World Cup due to a back injury. Given how crucial the 25-year-old has been to both Arsenal and France, that news sent alarm bells ringing immediately. But Deschamps has now put those fears completely to rest in the clearest possible terms. Speaking to the media, the France boss said, "William is fine and will be managed. If he had needed to play tomorrow, he would have played." That is about as definitive as it gets from an international manager. Saliba is fit, he is available, and he will be at the World Cup. This is enormous news on two fronts. For France, who will be among the favourites to lift the trophy in America this summer, Saliba is absolutely central to their defensive structure. Since breaking into the Les Bleus setup, he has become a mainstay under Deschamps and will be key to how far they go in the competition. But for Arsenal, this might be even more important. Saliba is quite simply one of the best defenders on the planet right now. Since making his debut for the Gunners in 2022, his progression has been extraordinary, and in the Champions League final against PSG, he was outstanding from the first minute to the last. Every top club in the world would take him in a heartbeat. The honest admission here is that Saliba has not yet consistently hit his Arsenal level on the international stage. The World Cup this summer is a huge opportunity for him to change that narrative and announce himself on the biggest stage of all. If he is fully fit and firing, and Deschamps is telling us he will be, then France will be incredibly dangerous. And Arsenal's most important player heads into next season in perfect shape. That is all we needed to hear. Now let's talk about Myles Lewis-Skelly, because Ben Jacobs has just dropped an update on the teenager's future that should make every single Gooner breathe a huge sigh of relief. Back in January, Lewis-Skelly was being linked with a move away from Arsenal, with Manchester United reportedly showing interest. It felt like a genuine concern at the time, a talented kid who wasn't getting consistent game time and might need to look elsewhere. But everything has completely changed since then, and Jacobs has confirmed it in no uncertain terms. Speaking to the United Stand, the journalist was crystal clear. The complication with Myles Lewis-Skelly is that he started the Champions League final in midfield. He's won himself back into contention for Arsenal. The only real wildcard aspect of the Myles Lewis-Skelly potential saga was whether the player was going to agitate for game time. He's getting that now at Arsenal, and suddenly only an astronomical offer once again might allow for engagement. So that shifted the other way. Read that again. Astronomical offer. That means Lewis-Skelly is going absolutely nowhere this summer, unless someone comes in with an extraordinary, almost unrealistic bid. And given that the 19-year-old just started a Champions League final and played a key role in Arsenal's first Premier League title in 22 years, you can understand exactly why the club have locked down their position. Think about what this kid has produced over the last few months. The energy, the pressing, the ability to carry the ball, the maturity under pressure at the biggest moments. Against PSG in Budapest, he was one of Arsenal's standout performers, and he is still only a teenager. The ceiling is almost impossible to calculate. Arsenal are planning to add another midfielder this summer, but here is the reality. Lewis-Skelly might already be better than anyone Berta could realistically bring in. Protecting him and making him a central figure in next season's squad is not just the right decision. It is the only decision. He is the future, and the future is now. Now I want to hear from you. Can Arsenal hijack the Alvarez deal away from Barcelona? Is Ferran Torres a good backup plan or a step backwards? And just how important is Saliba's fitness news for next season? Drop everything in the comments right now. I read every single one, and your debates are always absolutely electric. Let's build this transfer window together. And if you want every Arsenal update as we push to go one step further and bring that Champions League trophy to the Emirates, hit that subscribe button immediately. Smash it right now and turn on notifications. Budapest was just the beginning. Until next time, Gooners, come on you Gunners.